Hello my beautiful babes. Today I'm bringing you all my highly requested, most anticipated, long awaited eyebrow tutorial. Okay, I'm kidding, no one asked, but I can't let my talents go to waste. I said, let me at least make a video on it, okay? So I promised you all a detailed walkthrough on my eyebrow routine, and I'll be telling you how I achieve these fluffy brows, I guess we can call it. But let's take a closer look at these beauties. They have the same starting point. The arch height is the same. They follow the same shape. The height and the width are pretty identical, and the brow tails, sis, you're gonna want to sit down tight for this brow tutorial. But I guess let me correct myself. This is not a tutorial on how you should be doing your brows. This is simply just me showing you what I do to my brows, and if you like it, you can duplicate it. If you don't like it, don't be unfortunate, please. Leave the thesis statements on how my brows should or shouldn't look to yourself, okay? Okay, cool. So of course I had to do this intro, you know, looking correct, but this is not how my brows started. To get a nice set of filled in brows, I had to do the groundwork, okay? In this tutorial, you'll be able to see the difference between doing your eyebrows before your makeup versus after your makeup. But first, let's talk about some brow maintenance. So yeah, this is what my brows started off looking like. Mind you, this is even good compared to how bad they can look sometimes. Hey, God have mercy. I can't even grow a unibrow sometimes. Can you imagine? But shout out to my daddy for the genes though, because if I want to go for a messy brow look, I can. And if I want to go for a more tamed, you know, skinny brow look, I can do that too, okay? I'll show you guys what I do to maintain my brows at home. I've brushed them in place, and to trim up my brows, the products I'll be using are this spoolie. Any spoolie is fine. I use these small medical scissors that I got from Amazon, and I'll be putting them in the description box for you guys to check out. And lastly, I use these eyebrow razors from the beauty supply. I specifically like these ones and not these on the left because you can see that the teeth, or whatever it's called, they're different. The ones on the left, they have these extra metal pieces that I don't like, and they're very prone to giving you unwanted cuts on your brows, so I just avoid them at all costs. I start with brushing my brow hairs up, and with the scissors I'm trimming off all the hairs that are sticking out on top. You can already kind of see what a difference that makes, but I do this because it helps me to better see the shape that I'd like to go for. And then I just lift my brows up so I can really get to those hairs that I need to get to, and I start shaping up my brows. I start by making sure that I'm taking off a little bit at a time, and I also take a look into the mirror each time that I cut a little bit because I want to make sure that I'm not taking too much off. Like, you can very easily shave way too much hair off, and trust me, it's not a good look. I will say though that the best time that I like to trim up my brows is right after I wash my face. I just find that shaping up my brows while my brow hairs are wet is when I get the best and most precise results. I don't know the science behind it, but trust me on this one. When I'm a little satisfied with the shape at the bottom, then I brush all the hairs downwards, and then I shape up the very top as well. And I've done this enough times to know where to like naturally stop, but this is the part that you seriously need to take your time with. Try to get as close to a clean line as possible, and then when I'm done with that, I brush everything back up, and then I trim. Make a few tweaks here and there if you feel like you need to, and then I just brush everything downwards. I trim up all the extra hairs that are, you know, sticking out at the bottom, and then I'm just repeating every single step, or whatever step I feel is necessary, until I'm fully content with the brow that I've created. And when you start to compare both brows, you'll actually see that you've come a very, very long way. I go ahead and repeat the same steps to the other brow, and for a beginner who may be tired of going to threading or waxing shops, or overall just wasting your precious coins on a new brow technician each and every week just for them to be doing smesma and mess up your entire brows, one thing you can do to make sure that you always get the brow shape that you want is to lightly outline your eyebrows in the shape that you want, and then trim up everything around it. And for those who may ask, I try to maintain my brows at least every 2 weeks, and I try not to wait any longer than 2 weeks so that I'm making sure that I'm keeping up with the shape that I like. But the brows are done, and they look a lot better than they did in the beginning. Trust me when I say this, there's absolutely nothing better than having the shape of your brows in the power of your own hands. To fill in and define my brows, the products I'm going to be using are this Edge Booster Edge Control. Trust me on this one. I'll be using this Makeup Revolution concealer in the shade C13. I'm also using this NK eyeliner pencil from the beauty supply. And then lastly, my foundation for the day. You obviously don't have to get this exact foundation. You can use whatever foundation you use. And to give me a clean defined concealer line, I love using this Morphe M167 brush. It's very flat and rounded, and it just makes defining my brows very, very easy. So yeah, it's no secret that I'm a sucker for fluffy brows. Like, I love it, it's in me, and it just complements my thick brows very well. But I still love for my brows to look tamed, you know, like a tamed messy look, if you will. But the key ingredient to my fluffy brow look is slicking my brow hairs up, and I use this edge control to do so because it's been able to give me the best results for how long it lasts, how quickly it dries up, no hard or flaky brows. Like, it's literally just perfect. Plus, I'd rather use a $3.99 edge control that is multi-purposeful than buy a whole brow gel that is $10 or $20 just for it to not do its job. Do you know what I mean? Like, but moving on, I've tacked those hairs up and they are now in place, and they will be in place for the entire rest of the day. And if you have any extra product on your skin, you can simply just wipe it off. But let's move on to filling in the brows. So I'm using this eyebrow pencil and defining the bottom of my brow first. This is where you get the most control to create the shape that you want. You know, if you want a higher arch, a lower front end, a longer tail. For me, I really love a good arch, but I don't want to shave off too much of that hair. So what I do is just come a little bit lower in the front end, and it still gives that illusion of a higher arch. You know what I mean? I follow the shape of the bottom with outlining the top of my brow. I fill in sparse areas of my brows, if any. And lastly, to mimic those hair strokes, I add about 3 strokes in the front of my brow, making the frontmost one the shortest, so it can give that, you know, that gradient look. Y'all, that's some art right there. But yeah, I'm just replicating those same steps in the other brow. And if your brow hair is more on the thinner side and you'd like a brow pencil that is skinny enough to create those realistic hair strokes, then this Huda Beauty brow pencil is perfect for you with how micro the pencil is. Also, just keep in mind that no matter what your current brow status is, you can literally always create whatever other brow you'd like to achieve. Like, there's so many forms and styles of eyebrows to choose from. To conceal, I'm using this Revolutions concealer in C13. This has just been the perfect shade, consistency, everything for me. Like, this concealer is perfect for concealing my brows. And honestly, I could have been bougie and cleaned up my brows for this tutorial, but I actually love when there's some dried up product on the brush, because the bristles of the brush are kind of like concrete, to where you can really get that clean, precise line. You know what I mean? To conceal the top of my brow, my go-to is just using my foundation to avoid any halo brows and all of that nonsense. I don't like doing it. And I'm not gonna lie to you, you don't need glasses to see how this foundation is insanely my perfect shade, sis. In this step, I slightly made my brow a little thinner by making sure that the line at the top follows the line at the bottom, to simply put it, but you can see the difference in the two. I hope you can see the difference. But then I'm going to do the same exact thing to the other brow, using the side of the brush to get that crisp, defined line. And again, I'm just making sure I'm following that same direction of the line at the bottom. Once that is done, I simply do a quick little death stare into the mirror to make sure that they are identical, not sisters. Like, I need my brows to be identical as possible, and when they don't, the Virgo in me is not gonna rest. So I make a few changes here and there. The peak of the left brow was a little higher, so I fixed that with some foundation. Again, some more death stare, and I was a bit more content this time around. Then with this fluffy Real Techniques 200 brush, I'm going to blend all of that out, concealer and foundation. I'm just making sure not to get too close to the line so I don't disrupt how crisp it is. Everything is looking good, and only 20 minutes later and a few brain cells misplaced in the process, but no biggie. So yeah, it's only right for me to finish up my makeup, apply my foundation, concealer, contour, you know, the whole routine. I have so many videos up that will walk you through the process of me applying my makeup and sculpting my face, you know, the whole shebang. They go into great full details, so you don't have to miss any gems, okay? With my routine being complete now, I typically go back into my brows to correct anything that might have been rubbed off during the process of me putting my makeup on, and it's usually just those hair strokes in the front, so I just place them right back like they never left. I put my bob on, you know, real simple, real cute, but we can't have her ruining my makeup now. Let's not get too carried away. But no, the look is officially complete. Brows are on point. I'm feeling the look. This is exactly how I've been loving my brows lately. And child, let me tell you something about some brows, okay? A good brow day to me is a good makeup day. But wait, come. Y'all didn't think I was just gonna leave you like that, did you? Babes, you know an exclusive video is not complete without us doing something a little extra. So let's say goodbye to this Lex. And for my babes that like to do their eyebrows after the rest of their makeup, or if you've just been a little too scared and you want to see what the process is like, don't worry, I got you. You all already know the basic fundamentals, so this time around it's not going to be long-winded. We're going to keep it real cute, real simple. But anyway, when I do my makeup after the rest of my face, everything is about the same, but I'll show you what I do differently with each step. For starters, I don't gel up my brows. I mean, I could have gelled up my brows before doing my makeup, but when I do my brows after makeup, I just left a softer brow look. So yeah, I did the bottom of the brow first using the same brow pencil as before. Then I'm going to follow that same shape at the very top of my brow. And at the top, I'm making sure that I'm taking my time and doing everything precisely because I don't conceal the top at all. And then to complete the brow look, I just do the signature hair strokes in the front. Y'all know the drill. For the other brow, I wanted to show y'all the process using this Huda Beauty micro brow pencil. One, to show my babes who need a little bit more assistance with creating those natural hair-like strokes how well this pencil performs, and two, to show you that whether you use a $1 pencil or a 20-something dollar pencil, you can literally still achieve the same exact look. But I'm not gonna lie though, the Huda Beauty pencil is really good for precision. The brows are on now, so it's time for concealer. Same concealer, same brush, except instead of adding this much concealer on the brush like I do when I'm doing my brows first, I put this much product on the brush to avoid using more concealer than what is necessary. And also, if you have like shadows or anything like that on your lid, you don't want anything to disrupt that, so you know, just a little bit goes a long way. When you're applying your concealer, you could also stop the concealer here if you'd like without bringing it all the way to the front, but I want you guys to know that I spend time on my pride and joy, so I conceal them all the way. I did the exact same thing to the other brow, and to clean up that concealer and blend it in all the way, instead of using this fluffy brush that I used when blending on my concealer with the first set of brows, I'm going to use a more precise brush, and I really like this one. This brush is more able to keep the focus on exactly where I place it. And again, forgive my brows for being a little quote-unquote dirty, but y'all are gonna get the real raw tutorial, like, I'm sorry. And it's only been about 2 weeks since I washed my brushes, so I'll be alright. And as you can see, for my babes who find it a little scary when it comes to doing your brows after makeup, it's literally not that difficult at all, I promise. Plus, the advantage of doing your brows last is that you're really able to sculpt that centermost part of your face, you know, like the concealer, nose contour, you know, really adding that depth in that area. And I don't know, like, you just get to brag a little different when you're able to sculpt that innermost part of your face, trust me. But y'all, enough brow talk, man. We're finally done, and I honestly love both brow looks. So yeah, whether you like fluffy brows, soap brows, 2000s brows, skinny brows, straight brow, anything sha, just remember that you can literally achieve whatever brow shape, color, or style that you want. But enough said, I hope you guys were able to learn a thing or two in this tutorial, and I'll see you all soon in my next video.